The brush presets in Krita 4 are really nice, but there are a couple of bugs with respect to the brush preset management. So the first thing you might want to know about is the group or the tag star my favorites. Now when the pop-up, if I right click and the pop-up comes up, the my favorites will show up in the pop-up. But the thing is, you cannot actually remove these default brushes from my favorites. So for example, I come over here to the marker dry and I remove from this tag and it doesn't remove. Now if I right click again, notice that remove from this tag is gone, and if I hover over, we see that it's no longer marked as being star my favorites. But if we right click, it still shows up in this panel over here. Now that only applies to the built-in brushes. So for example, right here, this is another brush that I've imported from the version 3. And if I right click on that and I say assign to tag star my favorites, and I now do the pop-up, we see that that should be showing up, but it's not. However, if I switch to my favorites, it is showing up in that collection of tools. Still, I right click, and even if I restart, it won't show up there. But let me go and select another brush. So here I will click on this one right here, the basic wet soft from version 3, and I'll say assign to tag, and I'm sorry you can't see that, but I'm going to assign it to star my favorites. And you can see that it shows up there. Now when I right click there, that particular brush does show up. So now if I go in and I remove from this tag, it disappears from here, and it also disappears from this list. So it's a little bit confusing about what's going to go in and what's not going to go in. So really you should think of the star my favorites as probably the default favorites that come with Krita 4. The other thing that you may notice is as you take different brushes and try to assign them to different areas, to different tags, you may see duplicates of the tags. Like for example, top V3 brushes might show up 3 or 4 times, and same thing for my favorites. So they can show up multiple times. The easiest way to deal with that is just restart the program. Now as you may know, in the pop-up, if I click on this little icon, I can set which particular set of brushes will show up in the pop-up. So the easiest way to deal with your favorites is to create your own tag, and I named mine all my favorites just so that it would show up at the top of the list. Notice how it's capital letters first and then lowercase letters in alphabetical order. So just create your own group and then have it show up in the pop-up by selecting here. And so now you can select, create your own favorites. Another bug related to the presets is that if you've saved a number of brushes, for example in top V3 brushes, I had them saved and they've all disappeared. And that happened when I went to managing resources, and if you deactivate a bundle, it will be removed from the tag set. So that's just a few things that you may want to know that seem to be bugs in Krita 4.